Hare Krishna, welcome everyone. Welcome to our Gita class. Let's start with the prayers. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsyam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsyam Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namah Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate गोपेश गोपिका कंत राधा कंत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय नीलाचल निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्यं जगन्नाथाय ते नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we were continuing the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. In the 9th chapter, Krishna speaks about the most confidential knowledge, which is the knowledge about pure devotional service of Lord. In the middle 6 chapters of Gita, which is chapter number 7 to 12, this devotional service is explained. In the initial 6 chapters, predominantly that is explaining Karma Yoga. In the middle 6 chapters, it is describing Bhakti Yoga. And in the last 6 chapters, it is describing predominantly Jnana Yoga. So chapter 9 begins with Krishna's introduction, and Krishna glorifies the knowledge about pure Bhakti. Krishna says, Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitramidam Uttamam Pratyakshaavagamam Dharmam Shushukham Kartum Avyayam. So this knowledge about devotional service is the king among all different knowledge, and this is the most confidential knowledge, and we can experience this knowledge. Pratyaksha avagamam dharmyam sushukham kartum abhyam. And when we execute this devotional service, we can experience sukham, susukham, spiritual bliss or happiness we can experience. So this is not only theoretical and like there is no bliss theoretical dry process, but it is very enjoyable process, and it has explanations for everything, and this is very logical, and also this is happily performed. Like when we perform it, we get happiness out of it. So then Krishna starts explaining the knowledge. First, Krishna explains that what is Krishna's relationship with this material world. So Krishna explained that simultaneously everything rests on Krishna. At the same time, everything is not resting on Krishna. And Krishna is residing in everything, and Krishna is also not residing in everything. So this is contradictory, apparently, but this is called Achintya Bheda Ved, which is simultaneously Bhed and Abhed. Bhed means difference and Abhed means non-difference. So simultaneously, Krishna is same with the creation. Krishna is non-different from the creation. And also at the same time, Krishna is different from the creation. To understand this, we can take up the analogy of the ocean and a drop of water. Qualitatively, the drop of water is same as the ocean water, but there is a difference in quantity. The drop of water is a minute infinitesimal portion of the ocean, but the quantity of water in the ocean is infinite. So there is quantitative difference and qualitative oneness. So therefore, this is called Achintya Bheda Ved, inconceivable simultaneous oneness and difference. and it happens in many different aspects like Ishvara and Jiva, the Supreme Lord and the living entity, are also Achintya Bhedaved. Like qualitatively, they are same. Both are Satchidananda, but there is a difference in quantity. So that Achintya Bhedaved, which is a very confidential knowledge, is explained here. And after that, Krishna explained about different kinds of worshippers. Predominantly three different kinds of worshippers. Ekatvena, Prithakwena, and Vishwadomukham. So Ekatvena means the impersonalists, or who think that after liberation, I will merge with Krishna's body and I will become one with Krishna. They are called Ekatvena worshippers. Prithakwena means the demigod worshippers who are worshipping different demigods, different representatives of the Supreme Lord. In the 7th chapter, also previously, Krishna spoke about the futility of demigod worship. And Krishna mentioned that only those people who are muda, like Kamaistha Sthirita Jnana, whose intelligence is stolen by Maya, they go and offer their worship to the demigods. So in this chapter, again, Krishna will come back to that. So here we see that those who are thus bewildered, attracted by the demoniac and atheistic views. Yeah, then in this verse, Krishna speaks about three kinds of worshippers. Jnana chapyanne yajanto mamupashate ekatvena prithaktvena bahudha vishwato mukham. Others who engage in sacrifice. So why others? Because in the previous verses, Krishna spoke about the pure devotees. So everyone is not a pure devotee. Then what about others? They are categorized into three categories. Okay. Now, the first category worship the Supreme Lord as the one without a second. So they think everything is Brahma. Jeev is also Brahma. And after liberation, everything will merge in the Supreme Lord. So this is Advaita Vadis or impersonalists. As diverse in many, this is like different representatives of the Supreme Lord who are not supreme, but they have got some power. They derive their power from the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. And people worship them, the demigods, different demigods like Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Agni, Durga, Ganesh, Lord Shiva also. Now Shiva Tattva is little different. The Sadashiv is on the level of almost Mahavishnu, but there are some incarnations like Rudra and all. So they are living entities who are empowered, who are induced by the potency of Lord Shiva. So different demigods are there, and also Lord Shiva has a special tattva, special category. But Krishna belongs to the Vishnu Tattva category. There are three categories: Jiva Tattva, Shambhu Tattva, and Vishnu Tattva. Jiva Tattva means all the living entities like humans, animals, and all the demigods are also coming within this Jiva Tattva category. Because demigods are nothing special. They are also normal living entities like us. They are not the Supreme Lord. By their pious activities, they acquired some power. And also they had the desire to control. Therefore, the Supreme Lord gave them power according to their qualifications. And they become demigods and they are managing different universal affairs. And even Brahmaji is coming into the category of Jiva Tattva. Higher than Jiva Tattva comes the Shambhu Tattva or the Tattva of Lord Shiva. And higher than Shambhu Tattva comes Vishnu Tattva, in which Krishna, Vishnu, and all different incarnations, Leela avatars, Juga avatars, Manvantar avatars, they are coming under the Vishnu Tattva category. So, first category of worshippers, they are impersonalist Advaitavadis. Second category, they are demigod worshippers. And in the universal form, there is another category, they worship the universal form of the Lord. The form of the Lord, which is mapped to the entire cosmic manifestation, the cosmic form of the Lord, the same form which Krishna showed to Arjuna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So we discussed about universal form in the last class. And then Krishna spoke about that Krishna is the ultimate beneficiary of all different sacrifices and austerities. So today we'll start from verse number 20. This section we covered impersonalist, Vishwarup worshippers, and demigod worshippers. There are three different kinds of worshippers who are not coming into the category of pure devotees, but they are also in some way practicing spirituality. Now, this is about Vishwarup or Virat Rup. So Virat Rup can be, Virat Rup is the imaginary form of the Supreme Lord for those who are not able to worship the actual Satchidananda form of the Lord. The actual Satchidananda form of the Lord is only visible to the pure devotees. Like pure devotees can directly see Krishna face to face, like Madhavendra Puri and our acharyas, all our acharyas, they could see Krishna face to face. But we are not that much qualified. So for us, it is recommended that we worship the deity form of the Lord in temple. And the deity of Krishna in temple is non-different from Krishna himself. But there are some worshippers who are not having faith in the deities also. So for them, it is recommended that they should worship the universal form of the Lord, in which the different cosmic entities are mapped to the different limbs of the Supreme Lord. Just like Satyaloka is mapped to the head of the Supreme Lord, the head of the cosmic form of the Supreme Lord. Similarly, Tapaloka breast, Janaloka neck, Maharloka chest, like that. And sun and moon are considered to be the eyes of the Supreme Lord. The trees are considered to be the hairs of the Supreme Lord, like that. So that is the universal form. So that you can see the entire cosmic manifestation is a form of the Supreme Lord. And you see the sun and moon are the eyes. This is how you can imagine a form of the Supreme Lord, and you can start developing some faith in the Supreme Lord. So they are called Vishwarup worshippers. So there are some features of this Virat Rupa. A bona fide imagination of the Lord. This is a bona fide imagination of the Lord. But this is imagination, but this is bona fide. That means it is recommended in the scriptures. It is not a permanent form. And this cosmic manifestation is unmanifested at the time of annihilation. So when material world is annihilated, the cosmic form will also disappear. So this is not a permanent form. And this is for neophytes who cannot worship the Satchidananda form or the deity form of the Lord. And this imagination can be done in many ways. You can map the different limbs of the cosmic form with different planets, with different varnas, like Brahmanas are the head, Kshatriyas are the arms, Vaishyas are the thighs, Shudras are the legs. Mapping different objects of the universe with different limbs of the Lord, like the mouth is considered to be Agni, the hairs are considered to be the trees, and the eyes are considered to be sun and moon, like that. You can also imagine the cosmic form of the Lord as a collection of all the demigods. One limb is corresponding to one demigod. So this form which Krishna showed to Arjuna. The entire cosmos, you can also imagine, the entire cosmic manifestation is Vishwarup, which is a form of Garbhodakoshayi Vishnu. So Vishwarup can be imagined in many ways. Okay. So we already discussed that and we did a recap. Now, let's go to the next section, 20 to 25, where Krishna speaks about demigod worship specifically. Just to remind ourselves, we will go to the description of demigod worship by Krishna in the 7th chapter first. So let us see what Krishna already spoke in 7th chapter regarding demigod worship. And then he is giving further information in the 9th chapter. So it's a recap. In 7.20, Krishna says, Kamaistaister hita jnanam prapadyante anya devatam tam niyamamasthaya prakritya niyatasvaya. So Krishna says, let us understand the Sanskrit, because sometimes people say that your translation is biased and all different things. The translation is not at all biased. Srila Prabhupada gave the mood of Krishna in every page of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Sometimes people complain that Srila Prabhupada is always translating Bhakti, Bhakti, Bhakti everywhere, but Krishna is not speaking about Bhakti everywhere. So Srila Prabhupada's mood is the ultimate conclusion of Gita is Bhakti. If we read the whole Bhagavad Gita carefully, we can understand that. In many places, Krishna has concluded that. But Krishna's nature is he will never force. He will tell you this is also one way. Jnana Yoga is also one way. But if you see the 3rd chapter, if you see the 12th chapter, in many places, Krishna emphatically says that please do not do the Jnana Yoga. If you remember the 3rd chapter, Krishna will say that although there are 2 ways, Lokeshmin Dvividhanishta Pura Prokta Mayanaha, Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yogenam. So Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, both are the ways. We already discussed this. But Krishna never recommends Jnana Yoga. Krishna says, even the Janaka king, who was qualified enough, even the qualified souls who are qualified for Jnana Yoga, they are also doing Karma Yoga. If you are not qualified for Jnana Yoga, then you should not imagine of practicing Jnana Yoga. And it is forbidden for you. But even if you are qualified for Jnana Yoga, you should do Karma Yoga just for teaching others. So always Krishna is recommending Karma Yoga. And the highest recommendation is Bhakti Yoga. So why Krishna is recommending Karma Yoga? Because Karma is very much aligned with Bhakti. There is a very thin difference between Karma and Bhakti. Karma means you have the freedom to choose your action. Whatever you want, you can do, but offer the fruits to Krishna. And Bhakti means I will not choose anything which Krishna does not like. So my choice will be motivated by Krishna's pleasure. So for if we give an example, suppose I want to eat a mango, I go to the market, I purchase the mango, then I offer it to the Supreme Lord and accept the mango as prasad. This is Karma Yoga because I wanted to eat the mango. Now, suppose if I am reading Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto and I see Krishna's butter stealing pastimes, and suddenly I remembered I also have a Krishna deity in my home. So let me offer some butter to Krishna because Krishna likes to eat it. So my motivation behind that making butter was Krishna's pleasure. I did not want to take the butter. So this is called Bhakti Yoga. So there is a very thin difference between karma and bhakti. So bhakti is generally little advanced. For advanced souls, they can act in such a way that they are only working for Krishna. They do not have any material desires. But for normal living entities, it is rare. They have material desires. So therefore, Krishna is prescribing you should start with karma yoga. If you can reach to bhakti yoga, I will be very much pleased. And Krishna emphatically says that in Srimad Bhagavatam, न साधयति माम योगो न धर्म संख उद्धव न सध्यायस्तपस्त्यागो यथा भक्तिर्ममोर्जिता जथा भक्तिर्ममोर्जिता न साधयति माम. I am not satisfied by न साधयति माम yogo, न धर्म संख, न swadhyaya, tapa, tyago. In all these processes, I am not satisfied. I am only satisfied by jatha bhaktirmamorjita, bhakti. So bhakti is the highest recommendation, but Krishna is also enumerating different ways. This is also one way. This is also one way. Ashtanga Yoga is also there. But Krishna then gives recommendation also. But I do not recommend Jnana Yoga. In the 12th chapter, we will see Krishna will say, Klesho adhikataras tesham abhyakta ashakta chetasam abhyakta hi gatir dukkham dehavad vira bhapyatem. If you want to see the verses. Klesho adhikataras tesham. For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. So although being an impersonalist is also one way, we just discussed that there are three other categories of worshippers. One of them are impersonalists, but that is also one way. But Krishna never recommends that. So we have to understand all these things, that the ultimate conclusion of Bhagavad Gita is bhakti. And what Srila Prabhupada is doing in every purport, Srila Prabhupada is explaining the meaning of the purport, meaning of the verse, but he is connecting it with the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita in every purport. So in every purport, you will find the word bhakti, because bhakti is the conclusion. But Srila Prabhupada is also explaining the verse, but he is always connecting the verse to the conclusion. Why? Because in Kali Yuga, people are so disturbed, they do not have any time to read Bhagavad Gita. And this is evident. Most of the Hindus, they have not read Bhagavad Gita. They only know one verse, Kaam karte jao, phal ki chinta mat karo. Karmanyavadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. And due to the Mahabharata serial, they also memorize that Yada Yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. This is the understanding of Hindus currently. So they do not know anything of Bhagavad Gita. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada wrote the Bhagavad Gita in a way that if someone reads only one page also, he will also get the essence of Bhagavad Gita. And that is required for this age of Kali. So therefore, this is the best form of Bhagavad Gita one can have, wherein every page you will find the conclusion of Gita. And now we are going through a detailed study. Now, obviously, it will become clear to us that bhakti is the conclusion because we are going verse by verse. But for people in general who do not have much time, Srila Prabhupada is so merciful that he is giving them the essence in every page. So let us come back to the topic. In the 7th chapter, Krishna spoke about demigod worship. So let's recap. Krishna says, Kama istaste rita jnana prapadyante anya devata tam tam niyamam asthaya prakitya niyatashvaya. Kama istaste hita jnana. Hrita means apahrita, abducted. Jnana means knowledge. Those whose knowledge is abducted by kama, materialistic desires, they prapadyante, they surrender to whom? Anya devata, other demigods other than Krishna. So those people who are material, who has strong material desires, and due to the strong material desires, their knowledge is lost, and due to that, they are surrendering to other demigods. Tam tam niyamam asthaya, and they follow the rules and regulations of other devatas. Prakirta niyata swaya, and they become fixed in their devotion. So why Krishna is telling? Krishna will explain this. Why Krishna is telling that demigod worshippers or those who are worshipping other demigods other than Krishna to be fool persons. Why Krishna is telling that? Krishna will explain in the following verses. Yo yo yam yam tanum bhakta shraddhaya rachitum ichchati tasya tasyachalam shraddham tameva vidadhamyaham. Yo yo yam yam tanum bhakta shraddhaya architum ichchati. Ichchati means they desire. Yo yo yam yam tanum bhakta shraddhaya architum ichchati. If someone, that means Krishna is saying, whoever wants to worship some demigod with some devotion, shraddhaya architum ichchati, if someone wants to worship some demigods, then tasya tasya achalam shraddham tameva vidadhamyaham. I only provide the worshipper necessary faith to worship the demigod. Okay. So this verse says that the worshipper, suppose a demigod worshipper is worshipping a demigod. Now the demigod worshipper is dependent on Krishna. Krishna will give him the faith in the demigod. Without Krishna's assistance, he cannot perform the demigod worship also. This is the first point. In verse number 7.22, Krishna says, Sataya shraddhaya yuktastasya radhanamihate lavate cha tata kaman mayaiva bihitan hitan. This is very important line. Sataya shraddhaya yuktas. I provide the demigod worshipper necessary faith. Tasya aradhanamihate. And with that faith, the demigod worshipper performs the worship of the demigod. And after the worship, labhate cha tata kaman. They get the desired result. A demigod worshipper is worshipping the demigod for getting something. And they get the benediction. But mayaiva bihitan hitan. I am only giving him the benediction. The demigod is not giving. Mayaiva. Maya eva. Maya means by me. If you know Sanskrit, this is coming third case, Karan Karak. So mayaiva bihitan hitan. So whenever someone worships demigods to get some benediction, the demigod is not giving the benediction, but Krishna is giving the benediction. Demigod cannot act independently. Krishna is providing the benediction and demigod is just the medium. So this is why Krishna calls the demigod worshippers foolish. Because the demigod worshipper is also dependent on Krishna for the necessary faith. The demigod is also dependent on Krishna to give benediction. So the whole process of demigod worship, both the demigod worshipper and the demigod, both are dependent on Krishna for this demigod worship process. So if in every step Krishna is required, so why not directly surrender unto Krishna? An intelligent person will directly surrender unto Krishna. Because Krishna is only giving the benediction. In Srimad Bhagavatam 2.3.10, it is said, material desires, we should surrender unto Krishna. Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradhi tivrena bhakti yogena yayeta purusham param. A person who has broader intelligence means he is not a foolish person, first of all, because a foolish person will worship the demigod. If a person is with broader intelligence, whether he be full of all material desires, no problem. You have material desires, no problem. You are without any material desire, Siddha Purush, no problem. You are desiring liberation? No problem. In all circumstances, must by all means worship the supreme whole, the personality of Godhead. Okay. So in all conditions, we should worship the supreme personality of Godhead. This is another verse, Jatha Taror Mula Nishechanena. 431:14. Srimad Bhagavatam is like advanced study of spirituality. So many things will not be, because Gita is only 700 verses. Krishna did not have much time to explain all the philosophies. Jatha tarurmula nichechanena tripyanti tatskanda bhujopashakha pranopaharatya yathendriyanam tathaiva sarvarahanamachyutejyam. As pouring water on the root of a tree energizes the trunk, branches and twigs, everything else, and supplying food to the stomach enlivens the senses and the limbs of the body. Simply by worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead through devotional service automatically satisfies the demigods who are parts of the Supreme Personality. So two analogies are given. If you water the root of a tree, everything gets nourishment. If you supply food to the stomach, all the limbs of the body are energized. Similarly, if you just worship the Supreme Lord, all the demigods will be satisfied. You don't have to individually satisfy everyone. There is another beautiful verse. Devarshi Bhutapta Ninam Prithinam. 11.5.41 Srimad Bhagavatam. Devarshi Bhutapta Ninam Pitrinam Nakinkara Mrinicha Rajan Sarvatmanaya Sharanam Saranyam Gato Mukundam Parihityakartam. O King, one who has given up all material duties and has taken full shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda or Krishna, who offers shelter to all. Mukunda offers shelter to all. Is not indebted to the demigods. Sometimes people think that although I'm worshipping Krishna, I have some debts to the demigods. They are supplying so many things, like Indra is supplying rain, Agni is supplying this demigod is supplying. So I have so much debt to the demigods. But here in this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is spoken, if you are a devotee of Krishna, you are not indebted to anyone, not to the demigods, great sages, ordinary living beings, relatives, friends, mankind, or even one's forefathers who have passed away. So generally, we should do tarpan to the forefathers. We should give oblations. But if one is a pure devotee, even if he does not offer oblations to the forefathers, it is okay. His forefathers will be taken care by Krishna. Just like if we study the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Prahlad Maharaj was a pure devotee, and Nrsingadev says, you do not have to worry about your father. Your father is already taken care. What to speak of your father? 21 generations up and 21 generations down. They are taken care. They are all liberated because you are a pure devotee. So the best way we can benefit our whole dynasty is by becoming a pure devotee, Vaishnava. Okay. So we have seen enough scriptural evidences, and we have also done a recap of what Krishna spoke in the 7th chapter. Now let us see this section, what Krishna says from 20 to 25 about demigod worship. Traividyamam soma paputa papa jagyeristva swargatim prarthayante te punyamashyadya surendra lokam asnanti divyan divideva bhogan. Those who study the Vedas and drink the soma juice, seeking the heavenly planets, worship me indirectly. So some people, they are after sense gratification, they do Vedic sacrifices and they make their arrangements to go to the heavenly planets. Okay, by offering by doing different sacrifices, by chanting the Vedic mantras. And purified of all sinful reactions, they take birth on the pious heavenly planet of Indra. By doing all these Vedic sacrifices, chanting Vedic mantras, Vedic karmakandic activities, they like accrue so many pious credits and they take birth in the heavenly planets. After a death, they directly take birth as a demigod in the heavenly planets where they enjoy godly delights. So these are not pure devotees. They are just doing some sacrifices, Vedic sacrifices, and worshipping the demigods so that they can go to the abode of the demigods. So they have strong material desires. I want to enjoy. I am not satisfied by the earthly enjoyment. I want heavenly enjoyment. Okay. So these sense gratifiers, they do these kind of activities and go to the heaven. And then what happens? Krishna explains, Tetam bhuktva swargalokam vishalam shine punye martalokam vishanti evam trayi dharma manu prapanna gata gatam kama kama lavante. When they have thus enjoyed vast heavenly sense pleasure and the results of their pious activities are exhausted by doing Vedic sacrifices and austerities, they accumulated some pious credit. And due to the pious credit, they went to the heavenly planets. After they enjoyed in the heavenly planets, all the pious credits are exhausted. Then they have to return to this mortal planet again. Thus, those who seek sense enjoyment by adhering to the principle of the three Vedas achieve only repeated birth and death. So what happens? If you just want sense gratification and you chant the Vedic mantras, do fire sacrifice, what will happen? For some time you will go to heaven, again you will come back, again you will go to heaven, again you will come back. This will keep on happening. So you are still inside the material world and you will not get liberated. And while inside the material world, you have to experience all material calamities. Adi Atmik Klesha, Adi Bhautik Klesha, Adi Daivik Klesha, birth, old age, disease, death. All these problems will be there. And although there is sense enjoyment in the heavenly planets, you will see the demigods are also not happy because sense enjoyment cannot make one happy. They are always disturbed by the demons and they are also like they are depressed sometimes, they are dissatisfied. So external sense pleasure cannot make one happy because we are spirit soul, we are not this body. So by satisfying the body, we will not be able to enjoy. Then Krishna remembers the pure devotees. So these people, the sense gratifiers, they do Vedic sacrifices, go to heaven, and in a loop they continue their life. Going to heaven, coming to earth, going to heaven, coming to earth, sometimes going to hell, coming to earth, going to heaven, coming to earth, going to hell, like this, going on. But what about the pure devotees? Ananyaschintayantyo mam ye jana pariyupasate tesam nityabhijuktanam yogakshemam bahamyaham. But those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, my pure devotees, meditating on my transcendental form, they are not like Vishwarup worshippers that they are meditating on the cosmic form. They are not like the impersonalist that they think the Supreme Lord has no form, but they always meditate on my transcendental form, Satchidananda form. To them, I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. So Krishna takes care of a fully surrendered devotee. And he takes charge of the devotee. If the devotee is having any problem, Krishna will fix that. And if Krishna is not fixing the problem, then we have to understand that there is some purpose. Krishna wants us to go through that situation and grow. But we should always have this faith that if I am devotee of Krishna, if I am having full faith on Krishna, whatever Krishna is doing with me is the best. I might think wrong, but whatever Krishna is doing is the best. So that faith devotee should have on Krishna. Then life becomes very easy. So therefore, I remember the verse from the 5th chapter in this regard, which is called the peace formula Bhagavad Gita. It says, Bhoktaram yagya tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram shuradam sarvabhutanam gyatva mam shantamicchati. So in this verse, Krishna says, if someone knows three things and he is convinced about these three things, he will attain eternal peace. Bhoktaram yagya tapasam. If someone believes that Krishna is the Param Bhokta, ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities. Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. If Krishna is the ultimate master of all the demigods and planets. So Krishna is the supreme boss. Bhoktaram Yagyatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Krishna is the controller of this entire universe. And the third thing says, if such a person is Suridam Sarvabhutanam is my best friend, then why to worry? Everything is happening under Krishna's jurisdiction. And Krishna is my best friend. Whatever he will do is for my best only. So whatever is happening in my life, that is happening under Krishna's sanction. And Krishna is my best friend. Whatever he will do, he will not sanction anything which is going to harm me. So I have no tension. Even if I think the situation is difficult, Krishna knows that this is best for me. So I will go through this situation, no problem. So this is how a devotee becomes free from all anxiety, because the devotee has found faith on Krishna. Okay, so this is how the pure devotees, for the pure devotees, Krishna takes care of them. And in verse number 23, Krishna speaks, Jepya anya devata bhakta yajante shraddhayanvita tepi mame bhakvanteya jajantya vidhi purvakam. But Krishna says, not everyone is a pure devotee. There are some people who surrender to other demigods. They do not surrender to me. JP Anya Devata Bhaktya, they become Bhakta or a devotee of another Devata. Jajante Shraddhayanvita, they worship the demigod very faithfully. Tepi Mameva Kvanteya Jajanti Abhidhi Purvakam. Tepi Mameva Kvanteya, they are also worshipping me only. But they are worshipping in a wrong way. Abhidhi Purvakam. Why they are worshipping Krishna? Because Krishna is the ultimate beneficiary. Krishna will explain in the next verse. Just now we discussed that even if a demigod worshipper is worshipping a demigod, Krishna is there in the background. Krishna is actually giving the benediction. So unknowingly they are worshipping Krishna, but they are not directly worshipping Krishna. This is a wrong way of worship of Krishna. And this wrong way of worship has some consequences that Krishna will also describe. Krishna says, Krishna elaborates this verse on 23rd verse. So in 23rd verse, Krishna said two things. They are worshipping me only. The demigod worshippers are worshipping me only. And Krishna will give the reason why they are worshipping me only. And Krishna said they are worshipping me in a wrong way. The consequences of that will also be explained. Okay. So aham hi sarva yajnanam bhukta cha prabhureva cha na tu mama vijanati tatvena tasya vantitem. I am only the enjoyer and master of all sacrifices. This is the reason why the demigod worshippers are worshipping Krishna indirectly. Because the demigod worshippers will do some sacrifices to please the demigod. In that sacrifices, Vishnu will be worshipped first. In every sacrifice, Vishnu has to be worshipped. Otherwise, that is incomplete. So to worship the demigod, they are also worshipping Krishna. But they are doing it in a wrong way because they are not directly surrendering to Krishna. And because they are doing it in a wrong way, what is the consequences? Therefore, those who do not recognize my true transcendental nature fall down. They will fall down. They will never advance in spirituality. Generally, if someone is worshipping Krishna directly, he will get liberation. He will be promoted to the Vaikuntha planets or Golok Vrindavan. And in Vaikuntha and Golok Vrindavan, there is infinite bliss. And the pleasure in Swarga or heavenly planets is insignificant in comparison to the pleasure or the facilities available in Vaikuntha and Golok Vrindavan. Heavenly pleasures are insignificant. But unintelligent people, they will go after heaven. Okay. So, because they are worshipping the demigods, generally Krishna's worshippers or Vishnu worshippers, they are liberated from this material universe. They go to Vaikuntha or Golok Vrindavan and they never come back. And they never fall down. In the 15th chapter, Krishna will explain that Jadgatva na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. Whoever comes to my abode never goes back to this material world. They will never fall down. But these demigod worshippers, they will fall down again and again. They will keep on doing a loop inside this material world and they will keep on suffering. The benedictions of the demigods cannot satisfy them. In the 7th chapter, Krishna already spoke that. Antavattu phalam tesham tadbhavatyalpamedhasam devan deva yajo janti madbhakta janti mamapi. Men of small intelligence worship the demigods again, and their fruits are limited and temporary. The benediction given by the demigods are incomplete. They will not satisfy us. They may give some temporary pleasure, but they will bring, like, if the benediction of the demigods is giving you 10% happiness, they will bring 90% misery with that. But if we receive the blessings from Krishna, you follow the process of devotional service, 100% happiness is guaranteed. Long-term happiness. There can be some short-term misery because Krishna wants us to grow. But long-term, there is happiness. So intelligent people, they always think for long-term benefit. Just like if we enter a college, the shortcut to get happiness is do not study and always party. That is the shortcut. But intelligent souls, they will not party, they will work hard. They will do hard work, temporary hard work for long-term pleasure. Okay. So same thing here also. And then Krishna says, Janti deva brata devan pitrin janti pitri brata bhutani janti bhuteya janti madhya jino pimam. Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship the ancestors will go to the ancestors. Those who worship the ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. And those who worship me will live with me in my abode. So it is not that whatever spiritual practices I do, I will end up in the same place. No. If we are worshipping the demigods, we'll keep on doing a loop, heaven to earth, and we will never get liberated. To get liberated, to attain the supreme destination, we must worship Krishna in devotional service. So there is only one way to liberation, that is pure devotional service. There is no other way. And somehow you have to come to that way to get liberated. You can come to that way from different ways. One can be an impersonalist before, but he has to adapt the process of bhakti yoga. Then only he will be able to reach the supreme destination. Someone was doing Ashtanga yoga. He has to come to bhakti yoga. Then he can achieve the supreme destination. So whatever way you are practicing spiritually, you have to come to the Rajpath or the main street which is going towards Krishna. Okay. So here also Krishna says that not all spiritualists will end up in the same destination, but there is division. And my worshippers, they will come back to me. But all other worshippers, they will keep looping inside the material world and they will keep on suffering. So that ends the demigod worship section. Krishna elaborately explained, although Krishna had very limited time in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, in that limited time also Krishna spent a significant number of verses in chapter 7, again in chapter 9 about demigod worship. So this must be a serious business that Krishna is telling us again and again, and this is directly in the Bhagavad Gita. So the problem with the Hindus, they think they know the religion and whatever they are practicing, they know everything. But if we read Bhagavad Gita carefully, we realize that how little we know about our religion. So Krishna emphatically is mentioning in Bhagavad Gita that do not do demigod worship. Even if you have material desire, come to me, I will give you. That is the best way. Do not go to the demigod worshippers, because demigods are not our father. Krishna is our father. If you go to the demigods and if you beg for something, in our limited intelligence, we do not have enough intelligence to decide what is best for us. So we will beg something which can be harmful for us. But the demigods will grant you. If you follow their rules and regulations, demigods will grant you. They will not analyze that, oh, this thing may be harmful for this person, so I should not give. But Krishna is our father. If you want something from Krishna, first Krishna will decide that is it a proper time for giving this benediction to this person. Krishna will take care of us like a father. So it is always safe and best way to ask anything from Krishna. And Krishna in due course will fulfill that desire in a very healthy way. Otherwise, if we go to the demigods, we will end up in more sufferings. So that is the essence. So Krishna has spent significant verses. Now I think we understood this thing. So we should have one-pointed devotion towards Krishna. Obviously, we should respect the demigods. If we disrespect, then it is not a behavior like a Vaishnava, because all the demigods, they are also servants of Krishna. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is told, Yam Brahma Varuna Indra Rudra Maruta Stunvanti Divyaistavir Vedai Padakramopanishada Gayanti Yam Samagam Dhyanavasthita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogino Yashantam Navidushura Suragana Devaya Tasmai Namaham. So all the demigods, Brahma, Varuna, Indra, Rudra, Maruta, they are also worshipping Krishna. So they are also Vaishnavas. We should not disrespect them, but we should not ask for any material benediction towards from the demigods. We can still worship them. How? If you offer some food to Krishna, after offering food to Krishna, we can offer them to the demigods, and they will be very pleased. A Vaishnava is always eager to receive the prasad of the Supreme Lord. And we can also pray to the demigods that please give me Krishna Bhakti. To different demigods, they have different expertise. Like Lord Shiva is our Guru. So we can pray that Lord Shiva, you are Vaishnavanam Jatha Shambhu. You are the topmost among Vaishnava. Please bless me so that I can also become a good Vaishnava. We can pray to Brahmaji that, oh Brahmaji, the Supreme Lord always like communicates with Brahmaji whenever there is some trouble. All the demigods run to Brahmaji, and Brahmaji then speaks with the Supreme Lord. And Brahmaji came directly from the body of Garbhodakushai Vishnu. You are so dear. You are son of the Supreme Lord. Please bless me. Please request the Lord on my behalf so that I receive the mercy of the Supreme Lord. So similarly, like Durga Devi also, Durga Devi is a potency of the Supreme Lord, sister of Krishna as a Yogamaya. The same Yogamaya is coming as Mahamaya Durga. So like the gopis prayed to Durga Devi that please make Krishna our husband. Give us this benediction. They did Katyayani Brata to get Krishna as their husband. Similarly, like for all the demigods, Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Surya, like Indra, we can pray, Ganesha, that destroy all my obstacles in the path of devotional service. But we should not ask for any material benediction that make me happy, pass me in the exam, or keep me healthy. All these different things we should not. We should ask benedictions which is going to improve our devotional service. In line with that, then that is allowed. That is a part of pure devotion. So with that conviction, we should be more attached to the worship of Krishna in a very focused way with proper understanding. Then that will improve our spiritual career. So there is one section remaining in the 9th chapter, and we'll complete that in the next class. Okay. Is there any question from whatever we discussed, or anything lingering into your mind? Yes, Ayush Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Prabhuji, as you told that demigods are the part of Lord Vishnu.
Hmm.
So we should not ask anything material and we should respect them. But there is a aspect of not even asking them or anyway just be completely surrendered unto Krishna and
Hmm.
not have any kind of connection with them. Although not disrespecting, but neither respecting. So how it can be harmonized?
Hmm. So the thing is that we do not need to worship the demigods. So as a part of your sadhana, that like our sadhana is like I will chant 16 rounds, I will read some Srila Prabhupada books, I will hear some lecture. So you should not make a goal that I should also offer these things to the demigods. It is not required. This is not needed. But if you want to, because you have some soft corner for some demigod, you can continue that. If it is very difficult to leave the worship of some demigods, then you can continue, but in a proper Vaishnava mood, not in a demigod worship way, because that is prohibited in Gita. And if you are still continuing that demigod worship, it is kind of adharma. You are disrespecting Krishna, because Krishna is emphatically speaking in Bhagavad Gita, please do not do demigod worship. So we should not worship the demigods in a demigod worshipping way. We should do a Vaishnava worship of the demigods if we want. But that is not needed. Even if we do not worship the demigods, they will be automatically pleased with us because we are devotees of Krishna. But suppose I am not worshipping the demigods in my home, I'm only worshipping Krishna, but I am going through the street and there is a temple of Kali Mata or Durga Mata. I should not, I should not be looking towards that temple. I should avoid the demigods. Not like that. You can go to the temple also and you can fold your hands and ask for benediction from the demigod. So you should offer respect. In this way, we can offer respect. But the worship is not needed. Okay. In this way, we are respecting and we are not disrespecting them. But at the same time, it is not needed for us to do demigod worship.
Prabhuji, actually, my question is also similar to this. In my regard, I don't have any soft corn for demigods, but the form of Lord Narayan. I have, from my very childhood, I was very much attached with this four-handed Vishnu form of the Lord. So, because Srila Prabhupada has said in Bhagavad Gita purport that we should only worship the form of Krishna as a two-handed form,
Hmm.
not even a Narayana form. So this is hardcore Vaishnavism, Gaudiya Vaishnavism, and there is a soft corner for Narayana form.
So
So in my
there Prabhupada is
context,
assuming, there Prabhupada
yes,
is assuming that your ultimate destination is Goloka. You are interested to go to Goloka. So then you should only worship the Krishna form so that your attachment is channelized towards Krishna. But obviously, all the worship of the Vishnu forms are legitimate. You can also worship Nishingadev, you can worship Barahadev. So we cannot force that he should be your Ishtadev. We can obviously force it that no demigod should be your Ishtadev. Krishna should be your Ishtadev. But any forms of Krishna, you are free to choose. That is your own nature. That is your constitutional position. Suppose you came from Vaikuntha, we cannot force you to go to Goloka. That will be wrong. So if you are interested to go to Golok Brindavan, then you should only worship the two-handed Muralidhar form of the Supreme Lord. But if my devotion is going towards another form of Krishna, there is no problem in worshipping that. And many devotees do. So there is no problem.
Prabhuji, what if I am getting this kind of thing with all these two form? Like when I continuously meditate on Lord Vishnu, then I feel like I should go to Krishna because I don't feel comfortable there for long time. When I
Hmm.
am doing this same for Krishna, then my mind goes to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then goes to Lord
No problem.
Vishnu, then go.
Generally, in our home also, we have so many different deities. Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, Gauranitai, Lord Krishna also. You keep everyone and you worship worshipping the forms of Krishna, there is no harm. And when you will practice devotional service, there will come a stage that is called Swarup Siddhi. Then you will get to know what is your constitutional position. Then everything will become clear. But till that time, whatever form of Krishna you like, you can worship and keep worshipping. You can simultaneously worship Vishnu and Krishna, no problem. Lakshmi Narayan also and Radha Krishna also, no problem. And in due course, it will be clear that what is my actual destination. And Lord Ram also you can worship, Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra. Mostly you will see like that in the altars of ISKCON devotees, there are so many forms of the Lord because they want to celebrate every festival. They want to celebrate Rath Yatra also. So Jagannath is there. They want to observe Gaur Purnima, Nityanand Tradashi also. So all different deities can be there, no problem.
Got it, Prabhu. Thank you.
Okay. Oh yes, Pranab Prabhu is asking a question. Is there any difference between Virat Rup and Vishwarup? How is the Vishwarup is imaginary if it was actually shown by Krishna to Arjuna? Yes, very nice question. So, Srila Prabhupada did not distinguish between this Virat Rup and Vishwarup, although there is a theory which says that Virat Rup is the cosmic form of the Lord, which is the material form, imaginary material form. Like Surya is the eye of the Supreme Lord, and hairs are the trees. So you cannot see a person whose hairs are the trees, whose eyes are the sun and moon, but this is an imaginary form. So that is called Virat Rup. And Vishwarup is the one Krishna showed in front of Arjuna, a collection of all the demigods, and then the fire emanating from the faces. That is called Vishwarup, universal form. So, some people distinguish between this Vishwarup and Viratrup, but in many purports, Srila Prabhupada is actually interchangeably using these two words. Prabhupada writes Vishwarup or this Vishwarup or Virat Rup of the Lord, which Krishna showed Arjuna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So there is not, because they are the same thing and different manifestations. If you think of the Vishwarup in terms of the material objects, then becomes the cosmic form, or you can say it a Virat Rup. If you think of the Vishwarup as the collection of the demigods, then it becomes Vishwarup. So it's all about how we name them. There is nothing like hard, like there is no hardcore rules to distinguish between this should be called Virat Rup, this should be called Vishwarup. Srila Prabhupada uses that interchangeably. Now, Vishwarup is an imaginary form. Krishna gave an imaginary vision to Arjuna. Krishna collected all the demigods and showed Arjuna that, see, all the demigods are residing within me. So this is an imaginary form, but Krishna gave that vision to Arjuna because it is impossible for a living entity to see. Suppose if Arjuna is individually meeting Indra, Chandra, and Varuna, it is difficult for Arjuna to imagine that they are also inside Krishna. So Krishna gave a combined vision that, see, all these demigods are also inside me, all the planetary systems are also inside me. But if you travel through the space, you will not see that Vishwarup. So this is an imaginary form, but for us to comprehend, Krishna just like compressed everything in a zip folder and showed that view to Arjuna. So yes, this is inconceivable. Krishna can do that by the inconceivable potency of the Supreme Lord. But this is an imaginary form and it is a bona fide imagination. That is the description we get in scriptures. Now, how Krishna is able to show that, we do not have answer. With this little materialistic brain, we cannot understand. So this is the description. Yes, it is the same form that Mother Yashoda saw in Krishna's mouth, the universal form. There also Mother Yashoda saw all the different planets, planetary systems mainly. So again, you can say the Virat form. But because Srila Prabhupada uses these two terms interchangeably, we can also use that. Vishwarup or Virat Rup, basically the same thing. Okay. All right. So probably in the next class, we'll continue this 9th chapter and we'll be able to finish that. Thank you very much for attending this session. श्रीमद् भगवद गीता as it is की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल।